What if a single wildfire uncovered a secret buried for generations? When cowboy Ethan discovers a forgotten grave and a mysterious letter beneath the ashes, his family's past is changed forever. Stay until the end for an unforgettable twist that will leave you speechless. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful American frontier stories. 3 months had passed since the wildfire swept across the rugged hills of Montana, yet the land still carried the scent of burned pine and scorched earth. Blackened tree trunks stood like silent witnesses, and the once green valleys had become fields of grey ash. Cowboy Ethan Carter guided his horse slowly toward the remains of his family's ranch, a place where generations of Carters had lived, worked, and dreamed. Every broken fence and collapsed barn reminded him of memories that could never be replaced. Although neighbors urged him to sell the ruined property and begin a new life elsewhere, Ethan refused. Deep inside, he believed the ranch still held something worth fighting for. At sunrise the following morning, Ethan began clearing the ashes with nothing more than a shovel, determination, and hope. The silence surrounding the ranch felt unusual, broken only by the distant cry of hawks circling overhead. As he worked, he noticed strange patterns in the burned ground, as though the fire had uncovered secrets instead of destroying them. While resting near an old oak tree that had somehow survived the flames, he sensed someone watching him. Looking up, he saw an elderly Native American woman standing quietly at the edge of the property. She wore simple, traditional clothing, and her calm expression revealed neither fear nor anger, only quiet wisdom. The woman walked closer with slow, confident steps, stopping several feet away from Ethan. Without introducing herself, she looked across the burned landscape before speaking in a calm, steady voice. "The land remembers what you forget," she said. The words echoed through the empty ranch, leaving Ethan uncertain how to respond. He politely thanked her, but assumed she was sharing an old tribal saying connected to the area. Before he could ask another question, she simply nodded toward a patch of scorched ground near the remains of the old barn. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing beyond the trees almost as quietly as she had arrived. Curious despite himself, Ethan carried his shovel toward the place the woman had indicated. The soil looked different there, darker and unusually smooth compared to the surrounding ground. As he cleared away layers of ash, several weathered stone markers slowly emerged from beneath the dirt. They were arranged in a careful pattern that seemed too deliberate to be natural. Ethan had lived on the ranch his entire life, yet he had never seen those stones before. His heartbeat quickened as he realized the wildfire had exposed something hidden for decades. The discovery stirred memories of his grandfather, warning everyone never to dig anywhere near the old barn, though he had never explained why. Ignoring the growing uneasiness in his chest, Ethan carefully brushed away more dirt with trembling hands. Gradually, the outline of an abandoned grave appeared beneath the ashes, untouched by time but forgotten by history. The sight sent a chill through him despite the warm afternoon sun. He remembered asking his grandfather about this part of the ranch as a child, only to be told that some questions should remain unanswered. Now, those mysterious words suddenly carried a heavier meaning. Kneeling silently in the ashes, Ethan realized the wildfire had uncovered far more than burned timber and broken buildings. Hidden beneath the soil was a forgotten truth that would challenge everything he believed about his family's past. As Ethan carefully lifted the weathered wooden box from beneath the forgotten grave, years of dirt and ash fell away from its cracked surface. The box was surprisingly well preserved, protected by layers of earth that had hidden it for decades. Taking a deep breath, he slowly opened the rusted metal latch. Inside lay several faded black and white photographs, An old sheriff's badge covered with dust, and a sealed envelope bearing his grandfather's name in elegant handwriting. Ethan's hands trembled as he picked up the letter. Every instinct told him that whatever was written inside would answer questions his family had avoided for generations and reveal a truth buried beneath the Montana soil. Breaking the fragile seal, Ethan unfolded the yellowed pages with great care. The letter had been written nearly 70 years earlier by the local sheriff, thanking Ethan's grandfather for risking everything to protect several innocent Native American families during a brutal land dispute. Wealthy ranchers had hired armed men to force the families from their ancestral land, but Ethan's grandfather secretly offered them shelter inside hidden cabins deep within the ranch. For weeks, he supplied them with food, horses, and medical care until the violence finally ended. The sheriff explained that exposing the truth would have placed everyone in danger, so every record was hidden where no one would ever think to search. As Ethan finished reading, tears filled his eyes. His grandfather had never been the quiet, stubborn man everyone believed he was. He had carried the weight of an extraordinary secret for the rest of his life without asking for recognition or praise. The wildfire that had destroyed barns, fences, and family memories had unknowingly uncovered the greatest act of courage in the Carter family's history. Ethan carefully examined the faded photographs, recognizing frightened native families standing beside his grandfather with grateful smiles. The sheriff's badge symbolized justice, while the letter represented a promise that had finally resurfaced. At that moment, Ethan understood that history could remain hidden, but it could never truly disappear. When Ethan looked toward the edge of the ranch, hoping to thank the elderly Native American woman, she was nowhere to be seen. The only sign of her visit was a trail of fresh footprints leading toward the distant hills before disappearing into the tall grass. Whether she had been an ordinary traveler or someone sent by fate no longer mattered. Her simple warning had guided him to a truth that would have remained buried forever. Ethan carefully placed every photograph, the sheriff's badge, and the precious letter back inside the wooden box. He knew these were no longer forgotten relics. They were pieces of American history that deserved to be protected and shared. Over the following weeks, Ethan gathered local historians, tribal elders, and members of the surrounding community to tell them what he had discovered. Together, they restored the forgotten grave, placed a memorial stone beside it, and honored the native families whose bravery had almost vanished from history. People traveled from across Montana to hear the remarkable story hidden beneath the ashes of the old ranch. Standing before the completed memorial, Ethan removed his cowboy hat and silently thanked his grandfather for choosing compassion over fear. The wildfire had taken nearly everything he owned, yet it had also returned something far more valuable: the truth. Sometimes the land keeps every secret until the right heart is ready to remember.